Hey friends, today we're working on a good old 2010 Chrysler Town Country, same as Grand Caravan. This is like my 10th attempt for this video. My freaking phone keeps shutting off the camera when I stick it down there in the lines. We're gonna skip, this is gonna be about taking the intake hose off, as well as mainly checking the timing here. So I'm gonna do this aspect of it before my phone gets too low for checking the timing. So you can use your phone. I'm gonna try not to press any buttons, but if you're very careful with it, if you have your flash on, you can use your phone to check your timing belt. Not much to it. It just shut off, as you can tell. See that? I only had a couple seconds. But anyway, I did use it earlier, and with my flash on, I could actually inspect my timing belt. Now, another way to do it is one of these lit up cameras. So they've actually got a little light on the end here that you can use, and they're pretty handy. You can stick them in there. Now, I already did this. I already inspected it, and like I said, you don't absolutely need your that camera. You can use, like I said, this little guy here, and we'll see if I can show you that here just real quick. So this up in the corner there so we can see it a little better. So there is, let's see here, there's your cam gear there, and there is your timing belt. Let's see if we can get in there a little better. If you do it just right, you can actually get the camera down in there and inspect. See, there you get a pretty good view of the timing belt there. And that timing belt looks just fine. I got a better view of it earlier, and it looked just fine to me. Normally you'll see a little bit of weather cracking and stuff once they start to go bad. And even, I've had mechanics tell me, even if they're weather cracking and such already, they're still okay. But I've also done timing jobs. I've done the timing belts that I've done before. When it got to the point where they actually broke, they were mangled. Like, they were pretty much just some threads holding on at that point, like the nastiest belt you've ever seen. So yeah, apparently they got to be pretty bad to break usually, but do not let that stop you from changing your timing belt, because it is maintenance on these. Especially this thing's got 300,000 on it, so based on what I can see from the belt there, it's almost guaranteed to have been changed. And I paid 700 bucks for this van, so I'm not too worried about it. Obviously I'm a little bit worried about it, so I wanted to make sure that it at least looked decent. Still, it looks decent, so I trust that we've got at least another 50,000 or more on it before I would really have to worry about changing it. I don't know when it was last changed. There's no tag anywhere, but obviously it must have been done at some point, because at 300,000 it probably would not look like that if it hadn't been done yet. I don't know what the intervals are on these. Is it 100,000? Is it 150? I can't remember. I think I looked into it once. But anyway, to get to the timing belt isn't terribly very hard. Getting this stupid intake boot off, or intake hose off, that's a pain, because look at this guy here. That hose clamp you see there, that thing is on the bottom. It's literally down here, factory. How are you supposed to get at that? It's virtually impossible to get at that. That's just, oh, it's just stupid. Anyway, what I managed to do is, between prying with this guy here, prying it off back there with this, or screwdriver or whatever you got, after I took this off, of course, and a screwdriver, or what, yeah, and pushing the screwdriver down there on the clamp to loosen it, because this was the only piece that I could see. Then eventually I got it off. I pried it off that way without damaging anything, so that was good. But of course you got to get this off first. Now that's a bit of a trick too. You want to push that red tab back first with a little screwdriver or something, then you have to squeeze this tab here, the black tab back there. You have to squeeze that then, and it's the same concept. It's hard to get at. So I was using one screwdriver here to press the tab, and another one in here to pry it loose, and push it back as I was squeezing it. So that was a pain. I got that off, and then I got the hose off, like I said, and then you can access, you know, take the airbox out and stuff. So first off, airbox just sits in here. Let me get this camera up. There we go, got that camera cleaned up. Those cameras, like I said, very handy. Princess Auto, Harbor Freight, whatever you got, find you on Amazon even. I bet you they're pretty cheap on there. But definitely handy for this, probably better than a cell phone. But like I said, it does work, prying it back, and I'll get to that. So anyway, the intake, it's easy to take the intake box out. It just sits in these boots here. You can just pop it out, pull on it, pop it out. But before you do that, you got to take the power steering reservoir off, 113 mil nut, and then this wire sits clipped into the airbox as well. You got to pop that off, figure that out, pliers, screwdriver, whatever. If you want to break it and use another new one, you can, but a lot of people might not have a replacement for that, so I would recommend just carefully pushing it out if you can, or pulling it out, maybe one of those clip tools or whatever. This is going to be on the intake as well. You just twist that off, no clamp or nothing on there. And then of course there's a sensor on the hose that you can't forget. You got to take that off as well. And besides that, it's pretty straightforward. This one's just got a regular hose clamp on it, which I have here, and I took that off because I crammed the intake in the back here while I was taking it off over here, just to get a little more access and such. And you got to be careful with your, definitely want to be careful with your sensor when you're doing that. But anyway, then you can access your timing cover back there, as you can see. And anyway, you got 3 10mm bolts that I can access. There's one there. Let's see, get the sun out of the way here. One back there, and then one in the middle, of course. Not much to it. And it actually pries back pretty easy. Like, I don't think I'm damaging anything. I could literally just split this with my fingers right now and the screwdriver would fall down. I'm just using it in there to prop it open. Well, here, I'll show you. I just pop that in there, pop the screwdriver out. Not much to it. Like I said, it just, you can pop that cover. You can push that cover back pretty easy. And that gives you access to see it. And like I said, you can get a cell phone down in there and even inspect your timing right about there. If you had your cell phone with a light on in there, you could see your timing belt there already. But anyway, you take those 3 10mm out, and then you can access this here. You might have to bend the cover a little, but I don't think it's going to hurt anything. Like I said, it's timing belt, so it's just covering it there. A lot of them have molded plastics. This is actually easier to pull back than plastic is without taking off a bunch of screws. So anyway, that's basically it. Then you can access your cover, reverse it to put it all back together. I don't think I'm missing anything here, but if I am, please forgive me or remind me in the comments. And if you have any concerns and questions or rants or roasts or anything, as always, leave them in the comments. And what else? I feel like I was going to cover something else before I went, but there's I just changed that faulty coolant Y that they come with factory, but that's for a different video. And yeah, like I said, just be careful. A lot of this stuff is pretty straightforward, pretty simple, pretty common sense. Let's not use that freaking coolant cap there, the rad cap. And yeah, otherwise that's what this video is for. But again, if you have any questions or the like and such, feel free to leave them in the comments. And as always, may God bless you.